Hey guys, Walter here with Cosplay Corner, and this video is pretty much just a little rant that me personally that I just recently, I started watching a lot of Linkara's videos, on atop the fourth wall, so I get to see a lot of bad comic books, and then I get to see it's hard to explain what's really wrong with it other than just saying the words Frank Miller, because I love The Dark Knight Returns. I actually really do like it, and in some cases where people say, they don't like the way Superman's portrayed, or Batman's too OP. For that, I always look at in the fight, especially the fight between the two, that Superman's holding back the whole time. We all know that. If he wanted to, he could just obliterate Superman or obliterate Batman with one punch, and that's fine. I can see it because he's friends. He doesn't want to hurt his friend. However, after that, I don't know what the fuck happened to Frank Miller. Whether or not he somehow got so attached to this idea that Batman's better than everyone. Because I've recently, watching Linkara's videos, I got to see the All-Star Batman up to issue 9, and I gotta say, I don't know what the fuck Frank was thinking. Honestly, just looking at what Linkara showed, there's no way in hell I'd go pick up that comic book. I mean, I like comics, and if something's bad in it, there's something bad in it, as long as there's something redeemable about the comic, I'd probably buy it, but there's nothing redeemable about this comic. I mean, let's just talk about what he did bad. I mean, he turned Black Canary, one of the birds of prey, into an Irish bartender? Or at least turned the whole Black Canary, character to reduced to a Hooters girl. And to be honest, it confuses me. I mean, I've heard people say that Frank Miller is sexist and, is a very fucked up person. And to be honest, if we could take what he's written in his comic books, it comes off that he's one sexist motherfucker. And he seems to think that just because it's a Batman story, that everything needs to come back to Batman. Like, when Black Canary goes on, attacks the bartenders at the bar she's working at, she does it because of Batman? Which he's never meant, nor that the story ever said anything. I mean, I don't understand anything about why this would be. I mean, I get that she's being heckled and stuff, and it shows her, she has a low fuse, and, when the fuse gone, she explodes and just starts kicking ass. That's, to me, okay if it wasn't so out of the blue. And it baffles me that everything Frank Miller's written, when it comes to Batman's been this fucking maniac. And I do mean, he's a fucking lunatic. I mean, if I had to choose which Batman I'd want the animated series Batman over the Frank Miller Batman. Because animated series Batman, he's calm, cool, and he's a badass. Frank Miller is just fucking crazy. He's at that crazy level where it's not funny that he's crazy. It's just awkward and really, really fucked up. And when he has, and the one line, makes my girlfriend laugh whenever I do everybody remembers in issue 2 with Batman saying, it's like, "Who are you, dense or are you retarded? I'm the goddamn Batman." It's like, everybody remembers that line. And then it's like, I remember that line too. And then when you realize it's written by Frank fucking Miller, as you can tell, I don't own any comic books. I remember of some comic books I read. It's just, I'm very confused of what the fuck is going on in Frank Miller's head. What the fuck does he think Batman's about? I mean, let's just talk about another thing. Why does he force Robin to eat rats? Why? Why is that even... Why is Dick eating rats? Why? Why is Batman this megalomaniac who just thinks the world revolves around him and that everyone who isn't him is fucking retarded? Is it because he's trying to parody what everybody sees as Batman? You know, because if that's the case, I could sort of picture that working if that was the case, but I don't think... I think he legitimately thinks this is how Batman is. And I think he's dead wrong. I mean, if anything, everybody's talking about whether or not it's okay to criticize. Like, I got so interested in wanting to look it up that somebody said that we've seen, you know, different styles of Batman, you know, different ways Batman's been portrayed. Why not have a lunatic who's control crazy? That would be okay, but this is overboard. This is taking Batman and stripping everything off of him and then replacing it with some fucking crazy lunatic that calls himself Batman. Or as Linkara calls it, Crazy Steve. And personally, I don't want to ever read a Frank Miller comic now. I want to pick up, you know, The Dark Knight Returns and, you know, have The Dark Knight Returns, but I don't want to get it now. Because Frank... I hear Frank is very smart. Because of course I watched Linkara's videos and I might do a little bit more research on this, but apparently a lot of people say Frank is a very smart man when it comes to his comic books. But he's a fucking dumbass when he writes. I mean, if you're going to write a comic book about a character everyone loves and everyone respects, and then you want to bring other characters in, why don't you see what everybody likes about these characters, like Superman? We know he's a Boy Scout. We all know that. But there's no way in hell he is Batman's bitch. There is no way in the hell he is Batman's bitch unless you want it to be that way. And the way I see it, the Batman-Superman relationship works at the best when they see each other as equals. That's when it's at its best. You wanna know why? Because a lot of the stories I remember is stories that have Batman and Superman working together. Not Batman and Superman fighting. Even in The Dark Knight Returns, I never saw the Batman-Superman, you know, fight as being all that nice. I mean, it's... so what? He had prep time. We all know that if Superman really wanted to, one punch dead. Or heat vision his ass. We all know Bruce lucked out. If it wasn't for his planning, he'd be dead. And then again, the fight was already going, you know, his plan was pretty much unraveling until Green Arrow shot the kryptonite arrow at him. So, it makes me wonder... Oh, there's one more other thing. In the All-Star Batman and Robin, he turns the relationship between Bruce and Alfred into almost like a master and slave. Alfred's the slave, what it sounds like. And I just got done watching the issue where, you know, Batman throws Alfred against the wall and asks, "What the hell are you doing?" You know, because, you know, Alfred changed, you know, Dick's clothes and gave him, you know, actual food. And whether or not you think it's creepy that Alfred undressed, you know, Dick's a different story. It's the fact that Bruce grabbed Alfred, slammed him against the wall, and pretty much implied that you don't get to do anything about my relationship with this kid that I kidnapped after his parents got shot, and it makes it look like I planned to have your parents shot, or planned to kidnap you. That's another thing. What the fuck is with this Batman? He has plans for everything. He was already watching Dick Grayson? Why? Did he plan on killing his parents and kidnapping them? It's like, this is one of those cases where I would like Frank Miller to come out and personally explain what the fuck he was thinking. I just read an article where he doesn't like any, you know, watching any stories of characters he's worked on. Well, let me just tell you this, Frank. A lot of people don't like reading comic books that you've worked on. Because you fuck the characters. You don't understand them. You think Batman is this immortal badass, yet you turn him into this crazy lunatic. Because that's how you see it? How about how we see it? Do I see Batman as a lunatic? No. Batman is a very intelligent person. He knows when he can't, beat somebody and he needs to back up and take a breather. He's not some lunatic who goes in willy-nilly. It's like you wrote him better in The Dark Knight Returns than you did in this one and the sequel to Dark Knight Returns, The Dark Knight Strikes Again. You wrote him better in the first iteration, in your first run with him, than you ever have. You've never been able to capture that magic, and maybe that's what you're trying to do. You want to capture this magic, or you're just trying to, exploit shit, or, try and be, controversial, when all you're doing is looking like a jackass. I mean, seriously. You're looking like a motherfucking jackass. And, personally, I'm not going to get any of your comics, because you write characters like they're fucking nuts. If you you put in the first page that this is what would happen if these characters were lunatics, this is how it would be. You know what? I could understand that, but that's not what you're doing. You're not trying to write them like they're lunatics. You're thinking this is how these characters act, or how these characters should act, or how you think. You think Batman is the best. When you take all the heroes in the DC universe, there are so many people that is better than Bruce. There's so many. Wonder Woman can break him in two. Hell, Aquaman can kick his ass. Green Lantern has the most powerful weapon in the galaxy. The Martian Manhunter, same thing. He can rip him in half. Superman can kill him in a millisecond. The Flash can just run in, punch his head into the run in, sabotage something, vibrates into his body and, blow his ass up or something like that. I don't know. I'm kind of angry enough that I'm not thinking of a rational way Flash kill him. And pretty much we know this Flash, all he has to do is infinite mass punching. Batman's dead. Batman is not the end all for heroes. He's not the definitive best hero. There have been better heroes. Spider-Man. He's a better hero. He has issues, but in my mind, whenever I want to see a hero, I want to see Spider-Man. You want to know why? Because when it comes to Spider-Man, he could be beaten. Spider-Man can be beaten. But will he go down without a fight? No. Does Batman go down without a fight? No. But who do I believe more? Batman will always somehow, at least if Frank Miller's writing him, Batman will always come up with a damn plan out of the blue. Where Spider-Man will know that he can't do this and retreats and has somebody else do it. Because he's fucking smart. Batman in Frank Miller's universe is a fucking retard. He calls Dick a retard, and I'm pretty sure Dick is smarter than him. Because I don't know what is with this Batman. And I know it's 13 minutes into this recording, and pretty much all I'm going to do is start circling around. All I can say is, for Frank Miller, he's an asshole. He pretty much doesn't get Batman anymore. I think at one time he had something good when it came to Batman. The Dark Knight Returns. Now I think he's fucking nuts. I mean, if everything about him is true, people say he's, when people say he's sexist and stuff, I take that with a grain of salt. Because I believe, not to judge, a book by its cover. But, however, when it comes to his comics, you can see it. He's all about TNA. And I feel bad for a lot of artists who have to draw his stories because he's a goddamn idiot. Let me give you an example of this. Another one of Linkar's videos, when he did Spawn, and the Spawn and Batman crossover. And in that comic book, it's drawn by Todd McFarlane, this creator Spawn, and pretty much Spawn is reduced to being Batman's bitch. When in all honesty, we know Batman would get his ass broken in two if he came up against Spawn. Because Spawn is not exactly somebody who holds his punches when it comes to somebody who's overstepping his bounds. At least that's what it tells me in every in the animated series of Spawn I've seen him. Somebody steps in his territory that doesn't belong, you get one warning, and then you're dead. And this, I don't know why Frank would do this, but somehow he had Todd draw, all the time, Batman beating the shit out of Spawn, but when it came time for Spawn to beat the shit out of Batman, he didn't show it, because he loves Batman way too much. And personally, the last thing I want to see is, Spawn being manhandled. Can Spawn... Is it okay if, Batman puts up a fight against Spawn because Spawn is holding back? Sure. I can believe that Spawn doesn't necessarily want to kill Bats, but should it be a one-sided fight? No. Should we get to see, Spawn fighting back and actually throwing Batman around, basically putting Batman in his place? Yeah. Should Batman be insulting Spawn the whole time they're teaming up? This is why the animated the DCAU has gotten Batman and Superman's, or Batman and anybody's relationship right. Sure, he can be, a dick, a little, example. And I know this is going to be odd because not a lot of people like this, but the Justice League War. In it, Batman is, with Green Lantern, and it's a legitimately funny thing. Where Batman just proves that if he wanted to, he could take, Green Lantern's ring off. But it doesn't come off like he's treating Green Lantern like an asshole. He's just teaching him a lesson. When he takes, when Green Lantern's talking and he takes the ring off of him. To me, that is funny because it's just like, Batman's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, just looking at the ring, and then it's just like, it's funny because it's subtle. It's not like he's not like he's painting himself yellow and confronting him. This is just, a subtle, okay, I got it. Sure, does a Green Lantern ring work like that where you can just take it off? I don't know. But to me, it works. It's subtle, and it's not... Hell, when he fights Superman, he wants to talk to Superman. Green Lantern's an asshole and just wants to fight. But he's the only one who wants to talk, and of course Superman's being an idiot. But in that, I think in that universe, it's almost treating Superman like he's a little bit younger, and is a little inexperienced, and a little full of himself because of how much power he has. But in the next one, Throne of Atlantis, I watched that. That was a little better Superman, Batman relationship, especially when they're investigating. That's a little bit better. Is there any other DC? Oh, World's Finest, the Batman Superman team up, and for the animated series, Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series. That is the penultimate Batman Superman team up, because they have a common threat, but the way they meet on uneasy ground, so they're uneasy about each other, and each proves themselves to each other. Batman comes off as being a hard ass. Clark, doesn't like it, and they have a little tussle, but it's not like one of those cases where it's a full-on fist fight. It's just one, sending a message, like when Batman throws Superman into the table, and then Superman responds by shoulder blocking Batman into a wall. It's just like, yeah, you can do that to me, but I can do it to you. So let's try and work this out. Well, let's not try and work this out. Let's just try and be reasonable. And of course, Batman takes up the kryptonite. He's like, doesn't take much, does it? And he's like, tells him why he's there. And then of course, Superman found out that he's Bruce Wayne, and then Batman returned the favor by finding out that Superman's Clark Kent. That is good because it creates this relationship where the two start to respect each other, and start to see that the other one shouldn't be taken so lightly, and that if you think you're one up on him, that the other one can be right behind you. And that, to me, that's a good relationship, and that's what makes me afraid of the the upcoming Batman v Superman, is because I hope it's not a bad relationship. It's okay if it has rocky points because that relationship did start rocky. It could have that rocky, look, but don't make it just about that. Don't make it so Batman's better than Superman. Make it that, because I know it's supposed to be like Batman's been doing this for a long time, and that Superman's looking up to Batman for, as a mentor. To me, that can work if it's done right, and I can tell you, I'm excited for this movie because it is taking Batman and Superman and putting them on the screen for the first time together, and that's what I want to see. I want to see them both on the screen together, and to me, I'll go see it if it's good enough for me that I want to go back and see it. I'll see it again and again. Like I'm going to probably do with Avengers Age of Ultron when it comes out. I'll see it again and again and again because when a movie is good and it captures the characters good, you want to go see it again. And that's what Avengers did. I'll even say Man of Steel, I went and saw that twice. I see a lot of movies twice if I really like them. This might sound odd and this probably is going to invalidate what I've been saying. I love the Transformers movies. But I mainly see them because I want to see what Optimus Prime has been up to. I normally don't care about any of the humans. I never cared about Shia LaBeouf or Megan Fox. In my mind, they could do without them. If the story was actually just based around the soldiers and the Transformers, I think that would work a little better. But Michael Bay does what the fuck he wants. I'm not gonna call him an idiot because he's trying to make money off of Transformers, and he's applying to the demographic. He's basically doing his job, and to me, it never felt like Michael Bay was insulting the Transformers. I think 2 was the close he ever came to insulting them when with Skid and Mudflap. To me, that's what it felt like. And personally, you can hate him because of his movies, but it did bring Transformers back into the limelight, especially when it brought Transformers Prime, which is infinitely better than I would say any of the movies, and it's basically it has a lot of the Bay Transformers looks and stuff into them, but of course having its own things. Also, he brought Peter Cullen back to play Optimus Prime, another good thing, and it's like you can hate it. And that's good, and just know that people like it, and I like it because I like the Transformers. I'll always go back and see the Transformers because I like them. I'm a huge fan of Optimus Prime. I would say I'm an Optimus Prime fan. I'm also a Megatron fan, so when you do Megatron right, that's best. Kind of sad they killed Starscream because I would like to see Megatron bitch slap Starscream on the big screen again. But that's my rant. It kind of went two ways. I'm probably not going to rant anymore because nothing to rant on anymore, but I'll see you guys next time, and yeah, that's it. See ya.